It is an honor to be here with all of you at Madison Square Garden. Now think about this, for more than a century, America's most celebrated heroes and legends have made history inside this iconic arena. This, where we stand, is where the greatest of all time, Muhammad Ali, faced Joe Frazier in the fight of the century. It's where the King, Elvis Presley, played for 80,000 screaming fans. It's where the immortal Hulk Hogan pinned the Iron Sheik and let Hulkamania run wild. And now, on the eve of the most important election in our history, the greatest champion of them all, Donald J. Trump, has come to Madison Square Garden. And I believe in just 8 short days, we are going to turn the United States of America red and make Donald J. Trump the President of the United States. Now, my friends, I've got the easiest job in American politics. Think about this. All I've got to do is remind people what life was like when Donald J. Trump was President of the United States. We had peace. We had prosperity. Take-home pay was rising the fastest that it had in 40 years. Inflation was at 1.5%, the lowest that it had been in a generation. Gas and groceries were affordable. And when Donald Trump was president, we had the most secure border in the history of this country. That's the Donald Trump record, and that's a record that's going to win in just 9 short days. Now, I'm going to maybe surprise a little bit of the folks in this arena because I'm going to be a little bipartisan here. I'm going to talk about Governor Tim Walz, and I got to be honest with you, I feel bad for him. No. We ought to spare a prayer for Governor Tim Walz because he's got the hardest job in American politics. He's got to convince the American... You all can say that. I probably shouldn't say that. But think about our friend Tim Walz has got to convince the American people that Kamala Harris is going to somehow fix the very problems she's been creating over the last 3.5 years. He's got to pretend that Kamala Harris didn't open up the southern border and let millions of illegal aliens in, even though we know she did. He's got to pretend that Kamala Harris didn't cast the deciding vote on trillions of dollars of new spending, which created the worst affordability crisis in 40 years in this country. And he's got to pretend that Kamala Harris actually has ideas in her head for how to govern the United States of America. Now, if you are the praying type, and I imagine a lot of us are, please say a prayer for Tim Walz because they're asking him to do the impossible. Kamala Harris acts like she's the candidate of change when she's been in office for 4 years. She says she can fix everything, but Kamala, day one was 1,400 days ago. What the hell have you been doing that whole time? Now, my favorite Kamala Harris moment is that when somebody asks her for specifics on how she'll make life more affordable or groceries cheaper, she'll say, well, I grew up in a middle-class family. You say, Kamala Harris, how are you going to close down the southern border? Because for 4 years you've left it wide open. And she'll say, well, I made the hash browns when I worked at McDonald's and I was pretty good at it. And anybody with a lick of common sense is saying, Kamala Harris, you didn't answer the question. You didn't actually tell the American people how you're going to fix what you broke. And I got to be honest with you, even on that McDonald's answer, I'm not sure that she ever worked at McDonald's. In fact, I think our president, Donald J. Trump, has probably worked at McDonald's for longer than Kamala Harris has. Now, I will say, I'm going to say one thing in Kamala Harris's defense. She does one thing very well. Look at this. You guys, you weren't expecting me to be so bipartisan, but I will say this for Kamala, that every time she does an interview, I think Donald Trump picks up about 100,000 votes. Now, we're, of course, in one of the proud baseball cities in the United States of America. So you know the problem with a softball interview is that you've got to be able to hit a softball still. And that's the problem with Kamala Harris, is I don't think that she could hit a T-ball based on what we've seen over the last couple of weeks. When she was asked what she would do differently compared to Joe Biden, she said, nothing comes to mind. She's running on how she's going to be different, but she couldn't name a single thing that she would do differently than Joe Biden. Now, I will say that could be the Kamala Harris official campaign slogan. Kamala Harris, nothing comes to mind. Now, the other day, CNN asked if she had made any mistakes as vice president. Now, here's what she actually said, and I am quoting word for word. She said, in my role as vice president, I've probably worked very hard at making sure that I am well versed on issues, and I think that is very important. It's a mistake not to be well-versed on an issue and feel compelled to answer a question. Now, I have no idea what any of that means, and frankly, neither do any of you. None of us know what the hell she says. Now, she may not be able to name any of her mistakes, but the American people sure can. And 9 days from now, we're going to tell Kamala Harris, you're fired. Go back to San Francisco where you belong. Get the hell out of the White House. Now, together, Donald J. Trump and all of us as part of this movement are going to unleash a golden age of American prosperity. We're going to make life affordable again in the United States of America. We're going to put the American dream of homeownership within reach for millions of American young people. We're going to secure our border, and we're going to keep our families safe. We're going to protect your right to free speech and religious liberty. And we're going to do it all thanks to the leadership of one man. Now, we have to remember, that one man, Donald J. Trump, 8 years ago, go back 8 years, he had everything. He had fame, he had fortune, he had family, he had friends. But he gave up the easy life to save the United States of America. When they couldn't beat him, they tried to bankrupt him. When that didn't work, they tried to impeach him. When that didn't work, they tried to put him in federal prison, and when that didn't work, they even tried to kill him. But as sure as the American flag still waves, Donald Trump still stands, ready to fight, ready to win, and ready to make America great again. God bless you all. Thank you so much. Let's do it.
New York City! The greatest president we have ever had is right behind us. Let's make some noise for him. Guys, this isn't politics. This isn't politics. This is a family. It's hard. We love you too. We love you too. This is so much more than a political movement. This is the greatest family in the world. We are fighting for a country we love. We are fighting for the American flag. We are fighting for the Constitution. We are fighting for our liberty. And as a family, we've been out there every single day over the last 10 years. They've tried everything they could to destroy my father, to destroy us. Dirty dossiers, Russian hoaxes. They tried to impeach him twice. They went after his Supreme Court nominees. They threw him off of Facebook. They threw him off of Twitter. They threw him off of Instagram. They tried to take away his First Amendment right. Guys, they tried absolutely everything. They weaponized every DA and every AG in this country to try and take down my father. Here in New York, they did exactly that. Alvin Bragg, Letitia James. They tried to destroy his life. They tried to take him off the ballot in Colorado. They tried to take him off the ballot in Maine. They tried to subdue the vote of literally hundreds of millions of Americans who absolutely adore the guy. Guys, it's been political lawfare every single day. And then somebody tried to kill him. And despite that, every single time he stands up and he says, fight, fight, fight. And how do you think it feels for them as we're back at Madison Square Garden, the greatest arena anywhere in the world? Guys, I saw the Rangers play here and win the cup in '94. Every Knicks game, every concert, the greatest arena anywhere in the world. And you better believe the entire party who has failed at taking down Donald Trump, an entire party who has failed at taking down his family, they're sitting there on those cameras right now, watching all of us, watching all of you. Almost 200,000 people tried to get into this event tonight. The streets, Fifth Avenue, all the way from Trump Tower, all the way down to Madison Square Garden, 10 people deep. That's how much love there is in the greatest city anywhere in the world. Guys, in 9 days, we're gonna win. We're gonna win. And not only is he going to make America great again, he's gonna make New York City great again. So on behalf of our entire family, thank you. Thank you for being on the greatest ride I could have ever possibly been a part of. Thank you for 10 incredible years. I want you to know, and I speak on behalf of my entire family, I want you to know that we will never stop fighting. My father will never stop fighting. Laura will never stop fighting. I'll never stop fighting. We live in the greatest country in the world. We are not gonna allow that to slip away. And I promise you guys, the best days of this nation are ahead of us. I love you very much. New York, it's an honor to be here.
I'll say a few things if that's okay with everybody here. Can I just say how honored I am to be the co-chair of the Republican National Committee for you guys? I'll tell you something, we're making sure that we have free, fair, and transparent elections and nobody's cheating in 2024. Guys, we are 9 days away from making sure we send a loud and clear message to the mainstream media, to the establishment, to the Democrats, to Hollywood, that it is not them. It is we, the people, who choose our president, and we're choosing Donald J. Trump. And I gotta tell you, it is incredible to be here in Madison Square Garden, in New York City, the greatest city on earth, in the greatest country on earth, the United States of America, because if you think about it, New York City made Donald Trump, right? But Donald Trump also made New York City.
Yeah.
He changed the skyline of this city, rebuilt it. Remember whenever they couldn't get an ice skating rink, Woolman Rink in Central Park? Donald Trump rebuilt the ice skating rink for New York City. By the way, under budget and ahead of schedule, if I'm not mistaken, because that's how we like to do things in the Trump family. And when nobody else was doing it, Donald Trump put his heart and soul right here in New York City. It's true, and this is the city that made him a household name. This is the city that put Donald Trump in so many rap songs, by the way, right? And truly made him the American dream. But I'll tell you something, being a New Yorker teaches you something else, doesn't it? It teaches you how to be tough. It teaches you that it doesn't matter how hard you get hit, you get back up and you keep fighting. When they impeach you, you keep fighting. When they indict you, you keep fighting. When they take a mugshot of you, the greatest mugshot in the history of the world, you keep fighting. And when an assassin's bullet strikes you, you don't lay down. You get up, you stand strong, and you keep fighting, right? Now, in case you guys don't know, Donald Trump likes to go places nobody expects him. Anybody hear about a little rally up the street in the Bronx? Yeah. Does anybody know the last time a Republican president campaigned in the Bronx? It was Ronald Reagan, and ladies and gentlemen, he turned New York red. I'm just saying. It is the honor of my life to be part of this movement, and Eric is right. This is not just about politics. We are all a big family, and we're a family who loves this country. And I can tell you something, 9 days from now, it is going to be the sweetest comeback, because we know the art of the deal. We also know the art of the comeback from Donald Trump that this country has ever seen. Everybody get out, vote early, take a friend to vote. Let's make America great again. We love you, New York.
Hello, Madison Square Garden! Are you guys ready to take your country back? Are you sick of the insanity? Guys, this is not my first rodeo. It's the third go-around, but you think this could have ever happened 4 or 8 years ago in the heart of New York City? The King of New York is back to reclaim the city that he built. My father changed the skyline of this city. He fixed the things that incompetent bureaucrats couldn't handle. He did that against all odds. He did it for our country too, and now everyone recognizes it. What's unique about this election, folks, you've had 4 years under both leaders. The media would like to pretend that Kamala Harris started her political career about a month ago in a coup, the most democratic process to ever not have a single vote. She's gonna be a moderate, folks. She's gonna be a moderate. A radical San Francisco liberal. The daughter of a Marxist professor is now magically gonna be a moderate. No one's buying it anymore. You know why? Because they've been lying to you for the last 9 years, and you're not buying their crap anymore. You've had enough. The fact that I could drive here today with my father for like 25 blocks and watch the streets of New York lined up with red MAGA hats tells us everything you need to know. You had 4 years under Donald Trump, and despite the most vicious opposition from the media, from big tech, from the Democrats, and even from the weakling Republicans, you got results. We got peace deals done. Our enemies weren't invading their neighbors. The economy grew. Inflation was next to nothing. And then Kamala Harris and Joe Biden took over, and everything went to hell like that. I keep watching it in the news. It's amazing. Kamala Harris is going to fix all these things. I say, you know what? Why hasn't she started fixing them? You know, you've had 4 years. Why didn't you maybe get going? You're going to wait till January 20th? Americans are suffering. People can't make rent. Businesses are going under. Grocery prices are too expensive. I tell a story. Last summer, I was coming back from a fishing trip with 2 of my boys. And we went to McDonald's. And it was $48 for a 10-year-old, a 14-year-old, and me. And guys, let me tell you, if Donald Trump Jr. has sticker shock at McDonald's, we have a serious problem. It does not have to be this way, guys. We can change it, but it's going to take all of you. You know, these days, you know, everyone's a tough guy. Everyone's a tough guy on the keyboard, on the internet. You know, everyone's a badass. But when you get shot in the face and you come back defiant, ready to fight, that's a badass. That's the guy. That's the guy that can fix the problems that we have. That's the guy that's going to keep our enemies in check. That's a guy that's going to fight for each and every one of you. He's done it once. Let's send him back to Washington, D.C. with an overwhelming mandate to fix the nonsense once and for all. Guys, look at the people who have spoken here tonight, and look at some of the people who are still coming. When did you think you'd be able to get RFK Jr., Tulsi Gabbard, Elon Musk? People from all different walks of life, incredible skill sets, whether it be health, whether it be technology, everything. You have them on one unified ticket. Think about that. Compare that to Kamala Harris and Tampon Tim. It ain't the same, folks. Timmy ain't fixing anything, and neither is Kamala. We have a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to change Washington, to put in common sense practices, to put Americans first, because they're not first right now. The Democrat Party has forgotten about Americans. Rather than cater to Americans, they decided, you know what? It would just be easier to replace them with people who will be reliable voters. The insanity has to stop, and the fact that we can pack Madison Square Garden in the heart of New York City shows me that the spirit of the American people is there. That same spirit my father showed on July 13th, that's the spirit of America. That's the spirit we need going into Election Day. So for the next 9 days, each and every one of you, you line up like you're the third monkey on line for the Ark and it's starting to rain. You vote early, and then you bring your friends so that we can take back our country once and for all. And when we do that, guys, we're not just gonna make America great again, we're gonna make the world great. We're gonna make the world safe. We're gonna fix it all. Get out there, guys, and just like you're gonna fight, get out there and vote. Vote! Vote! Thank you, New York City! Love you guys!
Gentlemen, we are 9 days away from the most important election of my lifetime. Stakes have never been higher, and the choice has never been clearer. President Trump and I have been friends for 25 years. I've said this before, and I'm going to say it again. He is the most resilient, hardest working human being that I've ever met in my life. I know he's a great leader. This is not my opinion, not my hope. He's proven he can build the strongest economy in American history. He's proven he can secure our borders and keep our nation safe. He's proven to be the strong leader allies and adversaries alike must respect. He's proven he loves this country so much, he's literally put his life on the line for it. What has the other candidate proven? She can get your party's nomination without even facing voters. What else? What else can she offer the American people other than vague promises and no plan? She talks a lot about the need for change and her hope for the future. Hope and change. Does that sound familiar? She can use the old Obama playbook, but she's not Obama, and she is no agent of change. She is the sitting vice president of the United States right now. What she hopes is voters will focus on the future because she doesn't want us looking at the last 4 years to see what we really need to change. We need change from sky-high inflation. According to Yahoo Finance, the cost of groceries is up over 25% during the Biden-Harris administration. Food is unaffordable for most Americans. That has to change. We need change from wide-open borders. BBC News reports illegal immigration reached record levels since they took office, with an estimated 10 million border crossings. That's a 300% increase compared to the Trump administration, and that's not including the unknown millions who cross undetected. That is the record of the other candidate, the border czar of the Biden administration. We need change from weak foreign policy. According to the Institute for Economics and Peace, a nonpartisan think tank, think about this, there are more active armed conflicts now than any time since World War II. Weakness from the Biden-Harris administration has invited aggression and conflicts around the globe. When President Trump was our commander-in-chief, the world was a much more peaceful place. J.D. Vance touched on this, but I want to hit it again. Vice President Harris was asked recently by the objective journalists of The View if there's anything she would have done differently than Biden over the past 4 years. And again, her answer was, there is not a thing that comes to mind. So, don't take my word for it, take hers. She will not change a thing. Hope is nice, but hope is not a plan. Change is needed, but change won't come from the status quo. And she is the status quo. If you want real change, you'll vote for proven leadership. If you want to return to economic prosperity, border security, and global stability, you'll vote for the one candidate who's proven he can deliver all of that. My fellow Americans, if you want what's best for your family and this country, you're going to vote Donald J. Trump as the 47th President of the United States. Thank you, New York. Have a good night.
And we were located on the 101st to the 105th floors of the World Trade Center. I get to be here today because I was taking my son Kyle to his first day of kindergarten that morning, 23 years ago. I lost 658 of my friends and colleagues. I had 960 who worked in New York that day, and we lost 658 people. And we rebuilt that company to take care of the families of those that I lost. So we took care of those families. Each of my employees, they took 25% of their salaries and they gave it to the families of the people we lost, because that's what New Yorkers do. And we gave those families $180 million. So the first thing, we must elect Donald J. Trump president, because we must crush jihad. I love this city. I love this city. And Donald Trump loves this city no matter how crappy they treat him. He is back because he loves you and he loves this city. We all say, make America great again. But let's just go over for a minute what that means, because we all say it as a slogan. When was America great? At the turn of the century, our economy was rocking. This is 1900, 125 years ago. We had no income tax. And all we had was tariffs. All we had was tariffs. And we had so much money that we had the greatest businessmen of America get together to try to figure out how to spend it. That's who we were then. But then we had World War I and we had World War II. And we felt we had a duty to rebuild the rest of the world. So here's what we did. We took down our protection. We took down our tariffs. And we turned instead and we taxed Americans so that we could export the power of our economy and save the rest of the world, which we did. Now let me ask you a question. What decade should that have ended? Should it have ended in the 80s? The 90s? 2000? What in the world are we doing? We're letting the rest of the world eat our lunch. And it is time to make America great again. All right. What does America first mean? We all say America first. What does America first mean? American citizens employed first. NAFTA. NAFTA. Bill Clinton's favorite I hate Michigan move. Open the border, take all car manufacturing and move it to Mexico, and screw over everyone in America who works in the auto industry. We don't make cars here. I mean, they make our cars in China and ship them here. It's got to end. So when he says America first, let's be crystal clear. He is saying employ American citizens first. Okay. The Harris-Biden administration has set us up with a $6.5 trillion spending budget on our taxes of $4.5 trillion as they screw our children's future to the wall. We lose $2 trillion this year, $2 trillion. And Donald Trump is going to build the greatest team to ever walk into government, and we are going to balance our budget. And when we balance our budget, the world is going to feel what it feels like to unleash the full power of the United States economy and its amazing workforce. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, I have the honor to introduce the co-founder with me of the Department of Government Efficiency. Doge, Madison Square Garden. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for the greatest capitalist in the history of the United States of America, Elon Musk.
As you can see, I'm not just MAGA, I'm dark, gothic MAGA. Well, the energy in this room is incredible. What a great group of people.
All right, I've only got one question for you, and
Okay.
then I'm getting out of here because this is your stage. But we set up Doge.
Yes.
How much do you think we can rip out of this wasted $6.5 trillion Harris-Biden budget?
Well, I think we can do at least $2 trillion.
Yeah!
Yes.
$2 trillion.
I mean, at the end of the day, you're being taxed. You're being taxed. All government spending is taxation. So whether it's direct taxation or all government spending, it either becomes inflation or it's direct taxation. Your money is being wasted, and the Department of Government Efficiency is going to fix that. We're going to get the government off your back and out of your pocketbook. And America's just not just going to be great. America is going to reach heights that it has never seen before. The future is going to be amazing. Now, you guys are awesome. Honestly, this is like... Yeah. I mean, this is the kind of positive energy that America is all about. Yeah. USA, 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 USA. Ah! Yes. Now, I have something I want to ask you to do, though, because obviously we're somewhat preaching to the converted in this stadium, but there's a lot of people out there who need to vote for President Trump. Okay, so this is a real battle. This is a real election battle. So you need to get friends and family to vote. Make sure they vote. Vote early. This is important. We're going to be putting up a scorecard, okay? An early vote scorecard, state by state, county by county. What is the scorecard? Vote early. Vote now. Yeah. Make the margin of victory so big that you know what can happen. Massive, overwhelming sweep of every swing state, and even some of the states that people don't think are swing states. Massive, crushing victory.
Get everyone, friends, family, people on the street. Put the signs up, put the hat on. Let's go.
And with that, it is my honor to introduce the First Lady, Melania Trump.
Good evening, New York City. Hello, Madison Square Garden. Our hometown, where architectural symbols of strength, courage, and unity create a canvas for the world's undisputed capital of industry. Where titans of finance, fashion, and entertainment convene among an iconic range of superior design, structures, and artistic accomplishments. And American ingenuity blossoms among determined citizens who race across city streets and between offices, striving for success. It is you who are the heartbeat of this great metropolis. It is you who are the pulse of this America. Yet, New York City is unforgiving. In fact, our lives are complicated even during the best of times. And sadly, today, a declining quality of life coupled with economic instability makes it difficult for business to thrive. Love you too. Crime is on the rise, while public safety diminishes, creating an environment where families with young children choose to relocate. And this story repeats itself from coast to coast across our nation. This is America. For generations, this town has produced America's most fearless leaders, whose mark changed the course of the world. New York City and America needs their magic back. A country of tomorrow that will shape our future and reset expectations for the generations. Envision a wonderful America where the seeds of security, prosperity, and health are sown once again for benefit
of our families. Let us charge together with a shared vision that builds on American greatness. Let's seize this moment and create a country for tomorrow, the future that we deserve.